Hey everybody, this is Kelly, RC Mechanic, and we're going back to victim number 1, and victim number 1 is the P407, right? Alright, so, in the last video on this one, I mocked up the transmission, and the driveline angles are just too extreme. So, we're going to see what we can do about lowering this down maybe, I don't know, half an inch, see if that makes a difference. So let me get you in here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so what we got going on here is I grabbed me some mounts off of an old SCX10, put them inside the frame rail right here. I'm going to take those out. And I only see I have them held in with like 3 screws, so I'm gonna take those out. Or 4, 3 or 4, I don't know, I don't remember. And like I said in the last video, I don't have the proper screws in here, so alright, that's out. Okay, so this is what I put in, and they actually worked really well as far as going inside the frame rail right here, because they actually follow the curve of the frame really good, you know. So take a look at this one right here. Mid follows it really well. So but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the original mount, which is this one right here, and just shoehorn that thing in here somehow, however way it came out. How did it come out? I don't know. Alright, so we just slide it up in there, and that's going to drop it an awful lot, right? So next thing I just need to do is get this to sit down inside of it, and here we go. Alright, so what'll have to happen is that there's going to have to be some more modification going on, because the mount is a little bit too wide. Okay, so I'm thinking I'll just pop this back out. It almost looks like it's like a whole width right there. Alright, so I only really need this mount right here and this mount over there, right? And if I go ahead and just cut this long one off, probably about the same as the short one right here, I should be able to get it to work. Alright, so I have these 2 pieces right here. I'm thinking this is going to sit in here, kind of like that. Actually, more like that, except, whoops, this end is a little bit too long, by almost 2 millimeters. So I'm going to have to trim that down. That'll just take me a minute here on the sander. And actually, I'm going to take the Dremel and cut a little bit off, and then take the sander and smooth it out. Okay, so I have the transmission mount in. As you can see, it dropped it down an awful lot, you know. Where this was, it was basically right there at that screw, and now it's sitting way down there. So let's measure that and find out what the difference is. So I dropped it down approximately 10 millimeters. Yep, 10 millimeters. And it made a big difference as far as driveline angles go. There's still some adjustment needs to be done here, and some adjustment needs to be done right back here. Like for instance, I can take this differential, turn it down a little bit so it's not almost compressed. I don't know if you can see that. Alright, so like right here, it's almost compressed all the way. So if I go ahead and, I know leaf springs won't typically do that, but you know, it's like right there. Looks like I have a shackle hanging up. Now at the front, we still have this angle right here that I don't like, and the one right up here, right? So if we were to lay this down, and you probably can't see it, but it is turned back, right? So in order to get the correct caster, I need to turn it forward. If I turn it forward, that'll relieve some of the angle right here, right? So I think the next thing would be I'm going to loosen this up, the front and back, and I'm going to turn them. Since they don't have a perch that they actually sit on, I'm going to turn them so that hopefully the angles won't be as extreme. And instead of being almost all the way out on the slip shaft right here, should bring it in. Alright, so what I've got going on here right now is I got the rear differential turned up. Hopefully, probably the tires are in the way. Maybe that's a little bit better. A little bit more gap right here. The front I also have turned. Now I have a caster right here. Still a little, well, quite a ways extended, but I don't know. I may have to get some longer drive shaft for that one. I don't know. Either way, short of moving this whole motor transmission forward a little bit, I think this is it. We'll see if I like it. You know, it's whenever you fabricate something, I don't know about the rest of you, if you've done any of it. If you fabricate stuff, you're kind of like going like, well, I'm okay with it here. I can live with that. And then later on you go like, well, no. Okay, so I was going to end the video at the motor mount, but I decided to continue and move on to this transmission right here. Alright, so if you can see, I've already cut out the cross member right here. This piece right here was sitting right up in there, and it was keeping the transfer case from going down all the way. Right? So if we go ahead and flip this over, now I got these, let's see, pretty darn close to where they should be. There's one, and the other. Okay, so that's pretty much right where it should be. And if you look right here, we have one mounting screw right there, and I believe there's one here and one here, right? So I'm going to try to drill these out so I can get at least two of these mounting screws in, because the way it sits right now, the transmission can do this. That would not be good. So let's go ahead and pop this thing out. And this frame is now extremely stiff, so. Alright, yeah, so we have a mounting screw here and here, right? So if I was to, let's just say, place this right up there, whoops, should be able to come up with an approximate place for it. Alright. And what I'm thinking the approximate place would be at the center of this hole right here, and then right around there. Alright, so seems like I completely hacked up this job. I'm going to just move this here out of the way and show you. You see these big washers right here? Well, I misjudged the dang hole, and I had to put a washer on, especially, well, this one, because it elongated the hole too much, and I screwed it up. So I'm going to have some repair to do on this cross member. Let's see, where to put my, there it is. I'm going to just show you what I did wrong. The original plan for finding the holes, I mean, was pretty darn good. I mean, I was real close on this one right here. This one on the end. That was a bummer. Alright, so I'm not going to say I never make mistakes. I do. But this hole right here, see how much bigger it is? Well, we're going to have to do something with that. I can either stick with the washer, or what I can do is, even though this is pretty far down right here, even though the transfer case is pretty far down in here, it does not sit completely flat. So I could do a couple things. I could do is brace some washers on the back side of this hole right here, space it up, and then bolt it down. Or I could brace some washers on the back side of that. Or I could fill it in, and you know, since I know where the hole is supposed to be right now, I could fill that in with some brazing or something, and re-drill the hole. So anyway, yeah, so fabrication doesn't go without failure. I guess so, I guess. But yeah, that's the way it goes, you know. Like I said, you know, a couple months down the line, I may find a better way to do this and change it all together. So, but I'm hoping we can get this thing finished first. So, and we got a long way to go. I mean, the mocking up the transmission and the motor right now, and getting the drive lines, that's just a small part. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that screw with the washer back in there. Because at this moment I'm going to call it pretty much this part being done, because everything is where it's supposed to be. And that's what the main goal was today, was to get everything where it's supposed to be. One thing about this end one here is that it's really hard to get it straight, and definitely do not want to cross thread that. Okay? But as it sits right now, I mean, it is not going anywhere. Driveline angles are much better. Front one, Now that I dropped that transmission down to the cross member, the angles are even better on that. I wish I could get it even better, but I can't. The only thing I could do is make it worse, because when I put the front axle in, as you can see, it's not centered. So this should be closer to here so that this can be all centered up. So, but I don't know if I did that when I moved it or if I already had it that way. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to fix that. Alright, so if you got yourself one of these Tamiya Bruiser knockoffs, you most likely didn't pay a lot for it, so you need to do some stuff to it. It's not like a big thing, you know. It is what it is. The transmission right here, it came with it. Some people like them. I don't. I think they're junk. They should have four-wheel drive, I think, in all 3 gears. So, I mean, what's the point in having a 3-speed transmission if you don't have four-wheel drive in it? Especially if it's a trail truck. It doesn't make a very good basher, so, I mean, it just bounces way too much. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to dig in and fabricate and all that. Most likely going to have to put a like aluminum piece in between this channel right here. If nothing else, to give it strength. But there's a gap between the transfer case and the cross member. So I got to take up that space anyway, otherwise it won't mount extremely solid. Anyway, that's what it's all about. That's what fabricating is all about. Sometimes it goes right the first time, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, it's the way it goes. So anyway, hopefully you like this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you got a better way of doing this, let me know. If you have any questions on what I did, let me know. And just remember to keep building, keep fixing, keep fabricating and creating. I'll see you next time.